In this module, we will provide you a step-by-step guide to perform Goodwill Impairment Assessment. According to IAS 36, an asset is impaired when its carrying amount exceeds its recoverable amount as of the measurement date. To quickly explain this, I will use a very simple example. Say you bought a house 1 year ago for $1 million. Let's assume no depreciation and no enhancements to the house. Then the carrying amount of the house today is still $1 million. Now, over the past year, the property market has boomed, and now you can sell the house for $1.3 million. The recoverable amount is thus $1.3 million. Since the recoverable amount, that is what you can recover from the house, is greater than the carrying amount, there is no impairment in this case. Note, this is a very simple example, and we go into further detail in the next slides. Goodwill impairment test can be performed in the following 3 steps. Step 1, determine the measurement date. Step 2, determine the carrying amount. And step 3, determine the recoverable amount. Let's go through each one in detail. Step 1, determine the measurement date. Back to our example, Heinz acquired Kraft on 30 June 2021. Let's assume there were no indicators of impairment of Kraft during the year, and Kraft Heinz financial year end is 30 June 20x2. IAS 36 requires Goodwill to be tested for impairment annually. Therefore, management of Kraft Heinz will be required to perform a Goodwill Impairment Assessment of Kraft at financial year end 30 June 20x2. Hence, the measurement date in this example is 30 June 20x2. Why is this important? Because in step 2 and step 3, where we determine carrying amount and recoverable amount, these amounts will need to be derived as of the measurement date. So in this example, as of 30 June 20x2. Step 2, determine the carrying amount. Where do we look to determine the carrying amount of Kraft? We derive the carrying amount from Kraft's balance sheet as of the measurement date 30 June 20x2. The carrying amount is calculated by taking the accounting book values of the operating assets and liabilities of Kraft. Note, any assets not related to the operations of Kraft should be excluded. Let's examine the balance sheet of Kraft as at 30 June 20x2. Note, the balance sheet now includes the intangible assets which were previously unrecognized, brands and goodwill, which came onto balance sheet as a result of the acquisition. The net assets of Kraft is its carrying amount. Therefore, note the carrying amount is based on accounting book values. Step 3, determine the recoverable amount. Note the word recover in recoverable amount, so it's self-explanatory. Put simply, the recoverable amount is the estimate of value you expect to recover from the asset as of the measurement date. How do you recover value from an asset? In 2 ways. 1, you can either use it, so through use, or 2, you can sell it, so through sale. That is why, according to IAS 36, the recoverable amount is the greater of value in use or fair value less cost to sell. Note that to determine value in use or fair value less cost to sell, you need to perform certain valuation techniques, and this is where valuation specialists get involved in the Goodwill Impairment Assessment.